Hey, what's up? I'm James Lynch for Fight Bananas. Happy to be joined here by Chepe Mariscal, who's going to be back in action against Damon Jackson. UFC Fight Night, August 10th. It is right around the corner. Chepe, how you doing this morning? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just getting ready for this good opportunity. Excited and pumped, and yeah, just can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well. Of course, this wasn't the original fight. That was you and Dan Ige. Has there been much of an adjustment going from Ige to Damon Jackson? Obviously, you got a bit of notice there because Ige ended up taking that fight on 3 hours' notice against Diego Lopez.
Yeah, man. I like to look at it as like we're all warriors, you know. I all props to Dan Ige to take that fight, you know, in 4 hours notice. I thought it was impressive, you know. I could have been the same guy, you know, if I was in Vegas. I would have tried to get in as well, you know, especially at 165. I was definitely walking around 165, getting ready for Dan Ige. But yeah, hats off to him, and he had a great performance, you know, so it was cool, you know, to see that. But yeah, it was like I missed my window, you know. It was to fight a guy who's ranked, you know. It was awesome, and I know the guy personally, and I know he's a gamer, so it was awesome, you know. But you know, it was anybody at any time. If anybody backed out at that time, I would have done the same. But yeah, man, a little adjustment for Damon Jackson. Obviously, he's taller. His style's a little different. You know, he's a gamer. He goes in and he fights. I've seen him put out some great fighters. I've seen him put up with some good fighters, and you know, and he's tested himself out there. So I feel like I'm fighting a really experienced veteran here.
We'll talk about Damon in a second, but I wanted to know, you know, that original fight with Ige was on UFC Denver. I imagine you were trying to get on that card because Denver's like your new home. I know you're originally a Chicago guy, but I'm assuming you pushed to stay on that card, but it didn't work out with the timing.
No, it was at the Apex.
Oh, was it? Okay. For some reason, I thought it was in Denver. I don't know why. I thought that original fight with Ige. Okay. Well, there.
Yeah. No, it was. It would have been cool in Denver. I went to that show, and man, I was like, man, I definitely want to fight in front of these fans. They're awesome. I was getting Drew Dober ready for his fights. So yeah, and then seeing his performance, stuff like that, it was cool and all. But yeah, man, we tried to get at that fight on July, but it was a short notice for me. And then obviously Dan took another fight, and then we try to, you know, have me and Damon for this week. Well, tomorrow, right? And then,
exactly,
I thought it was cooler to save the last show in the States in August. So I was like, you know what? Let me put a good show against a gamer opponent, and obviously put a fight night again, and then, you know, they could go off to overseas and enjoy those shows, you know.
Yeah, no, well said. It looks like the timing kind of worked out there as well. Now, I spoke to Damon yesterday, and he had mentioned that he was pretty familiar with you even before the UFC, because obviously you both fought for LFA. Was it the same for you, or is he a guy that you've only really known since being in the UFC?
No, and from LFA for sure. Okay. I actually wanted to fight him, which is awesome. You know, like
here we are all these years later. You guys are doing it out in the UFC, right? So
yeah, exactly, which is crazy. So I've seen him, and he won the LFA title as well. So I was like, okay, he was on my list of radars of guys like to possibly call out if they didn't find me anybody. But yeah, man. And then when we got matched up, I was like, hell yeah, it's just, I love gamers. I love the guys that are down to go and bang, wrestle, make it a mixed martial arts fight. You know, they don't like, I don't like fighting guys that just want to be a striker or, you know, want to just be a grappler. Like, I like that I'm in mixed martial arts. Yeah, it's going to happen possibly, you know. Like, I feel like Jackson's going to try to grapple this fight, and I really try to make it a stand-up fight. But we'll see. You know, he's a gamer. But, yeah, man, just to get that experience, and hopefully we get we're on, like, the main card, you know, co-main event, something like that. You know, I know the card is not really settled. But, yeah, man, I'm just so excited to fight a gamer and put on a show.
You mentioned helping Drew Dober or supporting Dober for his last fight, which was last weekend. I know there's been some changes at what was Team Elevation. Has that impacted you at all? Like, I know, for example, Neil Magny, I spoke to him yesterday. I guess he's not training there, but some of the coaches have moved over to a different gym. How has that impacted you at all? Who are you working with now?
No, man. I look at it as like the room always changes. You know,
Yeah.
there's people who got to move for family stuff or move for work opportunities or for training reasons, you know. So I was on the USA team very young. So my team was always new every year. And I was fighting people on my team. You know, like there was guys in the same weight class where we ended up in the finals and I had to fight teammates. And so I got used to all that kind of, you know, little mix-ups. You know, I've had drama in the USA team with coaches, and you can't train over here and you can't go over there. But nah, man, I try to stay out of the drama, stay on my lane. You know, a lot of fighters, I know they're built with this team stuff, but man, individually, man, you really got to go out there by yourself.
Yeah,
you know,
it
you
is an
gotta go
individual
out
sport at
there
the
and,
end of the day. Yeah.
you know, like you got to appreciate the people you train with. Obviously, you know, like I'm not saying, but you have to marry the crew, but you got to at least, you know, take the experience you can with some of the teams. You know, like we don't know. Like I'm not gonna say I'm gonna always stay here too. You know, maybe I'll leave. We don't know. You know, like the big idea is we're chasing these dreams and goals, and we're trying to have the drama, like put it aside and just, you know, stay focused. And that's what I've been doing. I've been working with Valor Caballero. I've been working with Mike Gonzalez, Aaron Porter, Cody Donovan, Vinny Lopez, Jared. Yeah, man, there's a bunch of people I get just in the small group, you know, not like the loud crews or anything like that. I like to be quiet, and like you even ask my teammates, sometimes I'm just sitting alone by the wall, just like trying to process everything that just happened, practice, and have all the questions down, you know, because I believe there's no stupid questions in the fight game. So yeah, man, like I try to just stay game focused, you know, like what if I have to fight tomorrow? You know, I can't be like, oh my God, well, I have no team. Like shit, the team wasn't in my corner anyway. You get me? There it's these three individuals. If you have those three people that trigger your mind, the voice that gets you going, gives you the fire, then why not, right?
Well said. Speaking of your corner, who will be in the cage with you for this fight?
Man, same people, Valor, Mike, and Claire. You know, like Claire. That's what's awesome about having Claire. So I've been having her at my sparring sessions and telling her even to repeat what the coaches say. If you don't know what to say, like repeat what the coaches say, because I can't hear the coaches that well. You know, like sometimes we're not like, you know.
But you got to hear your girlfriend. If you don't hear your girlfriend, you got problems. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. So it was a trigger even with my last fight against Sherry A. I kind of was like in a little fog for some reason, and then the third round, this spark hit, and then I heard her say something, and man, it just triggered something. So I was like, okay, well, this works, you know. So yeah, man, I'm just trying to be better with listening and doing, and hopefully not listening to the wrong things and getting caught, you know. So yeah, man, such a game.
How's this fight unfolding on August 10th? How do you see it going down?
Man, as always, man, like every interview I say, like I just want to finish, man. This is the finished business, you know. I got the last fight, I got, you know, performance of the night, you know, fight of the night bonus, but nothing's like the knockout bonus, you know. That sounds nice. It sounds good, but yeah, and I know he's gonna go out there and do the same. He wants to go out there and get a finish and a bonus, you know. Like if you're not in this game to be a champion, then I don't even know why you're in here, right? So it's like, man, I know I'm taking this fight. Well, every fight I take 100% serious. You know, I'm a gamer. I'm a always mindset winner. So it's like, you know, I'm trying to go out there and get a finish, first, second, third, wherever, you know.
I don't think it's officially booked yet, but I was curious your thoughts on the inevitable Topuria and Max Holloway fight if that does end up happening. Because obviously the interesting thing with that fight is that Holloway's never been knocked out, right? And so he would be fighting someone that's got some serious power. Can Topuria be the guy to knock him out? Like, how do you look at that fight if it does end up happening? And most likely it will.
Man, that could be a BMF fight, bro. To be honest,
of course, yeah.
Like that's a really, really good fight. It's hard to really, you know, predict what's gonna happen because, you know, I'm team short guys. You know, I'm Topuria.
Okay, yeah.
You know, he's the short guy, so I was like, you know what? Like, I think he could out angle him, catch him, but it's tough. You know, you got a whole new Max Holloway. Like when he fought Justin Gaethje, that was a whole new evolved, new prime of Max Holloway. You know, and I bet you winning that fight and winning and doing it that way only made him mentally stronger. So, like, if he could take out the highlight, he could take out a lot of people. So I feel like he could do the same. Now knowing he could he could knock out these dudes with some clean shots. Like maybe he'll put some different kind of training, but I think he can knock out Topuria too. So it's tough. Every game plan's a little different. And I know Topuria hasn't fought, like when he fought the tall dudes, he was getting caught a lot more. So he had to take more angles, play in the inside game more, and then obviously use his punches. But Max Holloway's, his volume just, he's going to probably take out the rhythm, that boxing rhythm. I think he's going to play, sniper and take him out if that fight actually happens. I believe it's going to happen, but we'll see, right?
Who would you give the edge to, though?
Topuria for sure.
Okay.
I think a TKO or he got outboxed and really like he's a good pace guy. It's just if his pace gets rhythm out, I believe Max will win, but I think Topuria gets it.
Gotta quickly give a shout out to HKA USA. They have the great best combat sports gear in the game, clothing accessories. You can use our code FightBananas, Bananas20 for 20% off your full order. I know a lot of you out there are getting gear and all that. If you're training, definitely go check them out. Use that code Bananas20 for 20% off. A couple other fights I want to quickly ask you about that are coming up here. Nick Diaz is fighting Vicente Luque in the Middle East. It's a 5-round fight. Who do you favor? Who do you think gets it done?
Man, Luque might hurt him, man. The last Nick Diaz we've seen, it was a sad Nick Diaz, honestly, I didn't want to watch the fight. I was very like emotionally, it was getting me like, damn, like why are they letting this guy fight? Like instead of letting him fight, they should go let him see a specialist or something, but we don't know. Everybody, like I know people over there that are saying that he looks good, he looks in shape, maybe he's self-building, but yeah, Luque is just a different monster right now, and I think he's got still a little fire, but I got him on that fight.
Michael Chiesa, Tony Ferguson. Who's winning that fight?
Oh, Michael Chiesa. I think he's got, I think he's got the size, the advantage. Then I think he's got the IQ. Tony Ferguson is just if I think people figured him out, and if you figure him out, like Benil, a bunch of people that figured him out. I think you could get the edge on that for sure.
Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov. Might be a little biased in this one, but I got to ask anyways.
Yeah, no, it's a great fight, man. But I'm a big, let's say USA fan. The Russians are known for being great, awesome. He's undefeated, but I like taking out the undefeated guys. So I'm such a big leaning towards Corey making one of the biggest upsets of the year for sure.
Well, yeah, it's weird. Corey's the underdog in that fight. You would think he's the favorite just based off who he's fought, right? So, that's
but this guy's with Khabib, and everybody's.
That's true. Yeah.
Everybody gets there,
Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis. Who do you see winning the middleweight title?
Man, if we have Izzy that fought Strickland, I think du Plessis is gonna destroy him. Du Plessis is a gamer, but if we got Izzy, sniping Izzy, airbending Izzy, I think he'll win it, but I got Izzy on that fight for sure.
Benoit Saint-Denis and Renato Moicano. Who do you see winning that one?
Damn, I don't even know those guys.
So Saint-Denis, the guy who just lost to Dustin Poirier. If you remember, he was beating Poirier in the first round, and then Poirier finished him. He's the French guy, and then Moicano, obviously, he's got a YouTube channel, Money Moicano. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Man, I got the French guy, man. He's a gamer. I liked his mindset going against Dustin Poirier. Yeah, he needs some hands, but I think with the grappling and the pressure, I think he takes out Moicano.
And just last one, Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili, not booked yet. Likely going to happen, though. Who takes the bantamweight title?
I give it to Merab, man. Short guy team.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, exactly. Keeping with that. We sort of talked about it there that Ige was that ranked opponent that you got, and obviously Jackson isn't. I mean, Jackson's been hovering around the rankings, like close to getting there, but hasn't really entered in there. I imagine you got to get a ranked opponent after this. Like, I can't see any world where you're not, especially if you go out there and get another, let's say you get a finisher, especially.
Yeah, man. Well, however it is, right? Like right now, I guess I'm fighting guys that's within my contract, which is right. Like, okay, which is cool. I like that I'm getting through, I'm obviously putting the performances. I'm saying yes to ranked guys, anybody. I've said yes to a bunch of guys, So it's cool to have a guy say yes to me, like Jackson, who was willing to take it for a short notice fight. So I was like, damn, that's awesome. And he's that guy that's pretty much in the way, like he's ranked higher than me. He's got way more experience than me in the UFC. So he's obviously somebody that I get to get through. And if I definitely get through him, I hope top 10, top 15, whatever, ranked opponent next.
Yeah, and I noticed this is your fourth fight in the UFC. Did you? I might be wrong about this. Did you re-sign with them recently, or is this? I can't imagine this is the last fight in your
No, no, I resigned. Yeah, after my Chepe fight, we signed.
Oh, okay. So after the last one, you got a new contract heading into this one, then, right? Oh, congrats, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah. So
that's got to feel good. You're one of the examples I always bring up of someone that really had a extra long road to get to the UFC. Like, you remember we did interviews ages ago, and you were, it seemed like, on the cusp there, and then it's just like, I know there's a lot of politics and other stuff, but that's got to feel good, man, because like I said, it's been a long road for you. It's not like Contender Series and 4 fights and you're in the UFC. It was a long grind and fought some really good opponents along the way too.
Yeah, man. What's crazy is a lot of people are using me as an experience, as a motivational thing now. Like they're like,
right,
hey, they're like had chances. He godfathered so many guys in the UFC. He was never. Everybody even said like, man, we thought you were never gonna make it. Just because how many years of not making it, and then I'm just glad to be in, make some noise, 3-0. Second contract, and then fighting, another game opponent, and hopefully get into their rankings,
And just so people know, and I'll get off this point, but like it is crazy who you fought. You fought this is before the UFC. Gregor Gillespie, Bryce Mitchell, Carl Deaton, who was in the UFC, Pat Sabatini, and you have a win over Yusuf Zalal. You also fought Joe Anderson Brito. Like, I can't think of a harder, strength of schedule just on the regional scene. Like, these are all guys that are in the UFC. Like, that's pretty crazy that you had to go through that sort of murderer's row.
Yeah, man. A lot of people do say that. Like, they go like, man, you went through like one of the hardest ways. Even through like I had even business friends go like, man, even through management, like how you did things, and just you stayed. Like, that was one thing. I just had this weird patience of like, I'm gonna make it. You weren't worried about it, something's calling me that I'm gonna make it to this. Because if I didn't, trust me, dude, I'd be doing something else for work for sure. But I'm glad I made it. We're making some noise, and and continuing on and trying to still be the inspiration for other fighters in the sport.
I think I asked you this before, but one of those names I mentioned in that killer's row was Bryce Mitchell. Is that a fight you'd like back? Because that was a really good. If people haven't seen that fight, that was V3 Fights, I think, was the promotion. That was a really, really good fight for both of you. Is that one you'd want to revisit at some point, especially with Bryce being ranked?
Yeah, man, all of them, all the losses. I'll even retire. Fucking call Gregor Gillespie out of retirement just to fucking fight him. Like,
is he retired? Is that like official now? Because no one knows what he's doing. Yeah, I think he's just fishing.
Yeah, man, he's just fishing. And I have buddies that went and go train with him, and they said that he's not training like with the teams and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting. Okay, you're doing my detective work for me, because I tried to like interview him, and like I have his number, and he's gotten back to me sometimes, but never, like, I haven't heard he's officially retired, but I would imagine since it's been so long that he's just not fighting anymore.
Well, I personally don't like really know if he. Yeah. Like, people are saying that he is. I don't know if he've ever.
No, I believe it though. Look, when was his last fight? Let's go quickly look here. Let's do our own detective work here in this interview. Yeah. His last fight was against Diego Ferreira in May of 2021. I think it's safe to say he's probably not coming back.
Yeah, that's a long time. I just don't know. Like, and that was one dude. I was like, man, he could do some damage for sure. Like, even being the top 5. He was good. He was a good grappler. I know his striking was a little off, but that's one dude. Like, man, I've like. Those are the dudes that gave me fire throughout the sport. I was like, man, if we fight again, it won't happen again. They won't fucking beat me. Even Steve Garcia, like all these dudes that I've lost to, just so you know, like, I've asked for a rematch. I told my managers, let's run it back, but let's do it at HFC or somewhere else or whatever. I even asked for it to be for LFA, main event, another one, stuff like that, at Tough Enough, to wherever I could get these guys, back to Memphis with Bryce Mitchell. But as you can see, all these guys that beat me got right into the UFC, you know, and I was like, okay, I see, you know, I felt
Yeah.
like a godfather, like, oh, you're welcome, you know, like,
Yeah.
but I'll see you at the top, you know.
We talked about Gregor Gillespie potentially being retired. Do you think Conor McGregor's ever going to fight again? Because obviously you're supposed to fight at 303, and now there's like, you know, we're hearing maybe at the end of the year. Like, this is just the saga that keeps dragging on, it seems.
So like to me, dude, like what's weird is like it's like anime, you know, episodes for me. It's like this dude that everybody wants to fight, you know, and I think that the media, the UFC is going to use Conor and to build this thing that has to keep building, keep building, keep building. So once that fight does happen, it blows the fuck up. You know, it's and that's what people like. I have people even messaging me about that. Like, hey man, like you think Connor's gonna fight, or why he didn't fight 300? Like, do you know? Like, I don't know, but like it's just crazy how it's making people freak out. You know, and I think that's what they want. You know, and Connor knows that. Connor's like, oh, I could see anywhere I go, like it blows up. You know, like you look at bare knuckle. Now everybody knows bare knuckle. My friends didn't even know what was bare knuckle until you know, the Notorious went and did the face off with Mike Perry, and they're like, oh my god, he's gonna fight Mike Perry. Like that's how crazy this guy can make people think. You know, and that's and if you do that, that's only good build up. So when the main fight happens, shit, everybody's gonna be quiet when the round starts. You get me? Like,
Yeah, I definitely can see that angle.
Yeah.
Before we go, I think a couple interviews ago, I know you were, I forget where you were fighting, but I was like, hey, you got to get some Nintendo Switch games. So I know you did. How's the Switch going? Are you still getting into any games at all, or what's the latest on that?
Actually, I got a little more into film work. You know.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, man. Like I was playing like here and there, like especially with like I got a Tesla now, so I go and charge.
Oh, cool.
I
always wanted to get a Tesla.
Yeah, man. I recommend it. Saves on gas for sure. But yeah, so I would play with the Switch and stuff. But then now I started like chopping down some film work, interview works, all this stuff. Like I started watching my old fights, my old interviews. Like they're cringy, they're disgusting for me. But you know, it's
why is that? Why is that?
Well, because you're a perfectionist. You know, like you know you're the hardest, the most person that's gonna judge you is you. Right. So I felt like maybe some of these interviews, especially my old ones when I was losing and stuff like that, like what was my attitude then? And then I could see that I've changed my attitude, my humbleness, my, you know, like being more centered to the game than not to like the fame and glory and everything else, you know, like I was too lost in the shine, you know, and I felt like being around the wrong people at the wrong time kind of kept me away from my true potential, you know. So losing definitely got me to sit down, relax, you know, and really plan out these camps and fights and what I really want to do from now in the future.
Well, you can't be too hard on yourself. That's part of growing up, right? Like you're not going to be the same person you were when you were 20 as you are when you're 30, right? Like you learn things, you evolve. So yeah, I can understand, you know, being a perfectionist and all that, but can't be that hard on yourself, man. It's you know, it's part of life. We're all going to make mistakes,
it's the fear of losing, right? I don't want to go back to that. You know, like,
well, that's a good motivation too. That right?
It's a dark place, man. Especially for a fighter, dude. You know, like that's why I respect fighters, win or lose. You know, like Drew Dober was like, damn, like, you know, he's like, everything was going fine until one little cut and everything. And I was like, hey, man, but you went out there and fought. Did you have fun? And he was like, yeah, I had fun. Great. That's it. That's all that mattered. You know, and that's how I look at it. Like, yeah, I had fun, but I just don't want to make the same mistakes as the younger me. You know, like the younger me, I was a little ignorant. You know, I could tell you that, like hardcore, like, and it was because of the people I was hanging out with, you know, and the coaches I came from that kind of kept me ignorant and kind of like I was becoming a dictatorship, you know, like I was like, nah, it's one way or no other way, you know. But I'm glad that I went through that, and now not just to be a fighter, but one day when I open a gym and do other things, that I'm able to help other fighters, you know, experience those things and, you know, go through them.
Well said. We're looking forward to this fight. UFC Fight Night, August 10th. Chepe, always a pleasure, man. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
No, man, I really just a shout out to like obviously my new team, Forge MMA, and shout out to you for giving us a voice here. And yeah, man, thanks.